What's up guys, and welcome back to On the Brick with another custom LEGO review. Before we get into today's set, I do need to apologize as I was actually going to have a review for a much larger set today. In fact, it was one that I was really looking forward to sharing with you, as it was one that I had a great time building and I loved the final result. And it was also one that another one of my patrons helped me get. Unfortunately, while I was moving it to its filming location, it sort of fell apart a little bit. While it's not anything too horrible, it was definitely something that's gonna take a little bit of time to repair. In other words, I wasn't going to be able to fix it in time for this video, so we're going to do a smaller set from the same movie instead. This is my custom quote-unquote UCS TIE Striker. In the conversation with Brick Vault video, I mentioned how I had gotten instructions off of Studio in at least 2017. In that conversation, I did second doubt myself a little bit because I could not quite remember what that set was. But then I actually found this guy hiding in my closet and remembered, yeah, this was the one. Because, well, Rogue One had just come out December of 2016, and I loved the design of the TIE Striker. Now, it wasn't necessarily done in the same way that we know instructions are done today, but I'll get into that a little bit later. The wings on this thing are quite massive. From the back all the way to the front, it's about 22 inches in length. However, it is not actually that tall, as it is just under 3 inches in height, and the wingspan itself is also not that big, as it's just under 12 inches or 1 foot. That's 58 by 7 by 30 centimeters. And again, I feel like apologizing because there really just isn't that much to this set. Don't get me wrong, I really do like the look of this thing and I'm very happy to have it, but there just simply isn't much you can do. You can open up the cockpit, the top of it, and then as well as opening up this back compartment here. And we'll get closer looks of all of this in just 1 second. But to get it out of the way first, there's not really anything at all going on underneath the wings here, so we're not really going to be looking at anything there. As I said, you can open this back compartment here, and right off the bat you can see a pair of binoculars. There's actually a lot of open space here, and if I move the wing back and forth, you can see that there's a little gap allowing for that movement. There isn't really a place to stud a figure down here, but this is meant to be more like a storage or cargo compartment anyway. You're also able to make out a second pair of binoculars there, and that's really it for this back area. The front is a little harder to show because the wings get in the way, but you can open up the top here, and I think this is supposed to be some sort of targeting computer or something. But you can also open up the windshield on the front and reveal this droid body that's acting like the joystick or cockpit controls. Again, it's a little hard to show you the inside of this, but also there's just not much there. You can actually put a figure in this spot, there is room for a second figure behind it, but just like the back of the ship, it is very limited in what it has. So if that's it, and I just keep talking about how limited this is and how there's just not much really to it, then why do I enjoy this? Well, first of all, it was probably the first custom set that I ever went out of my way to get, at least since the custom UCS spider droid that I showed off in my collections video. But the second thing about it is how this set actually came to be. As far as I'm aware, the designer hasn't made any other sets, at least none that they have uploaded to Bricklink, as this continues to be the only one that they have. And what's really interesting is that this entire thing was made using only 2 of the original LEGO TIE Striker set. And I think when you take that into account, a lot of the choices that went into making this suddenly become more forgivable. The designer, whose name is a little weird, it's BB483176, they were working within that specific limitation of what they were given. Now, thankfully, they do actually offer a better view of what the inside of the ship is supposed to look like, and you can see that in the years since I built it, some areas changed for me, but I still think they did a really good job, especially with the limitations that they had. So with that understanding of this is the set you get, there are some things that I personally will probably modify on mine now. For instance, I will probably go around and tile off the rest of the wings here. I will probably also change this area to try to make these slants more stable. I might even look into redesigning some of the main body with newer pieces or just different pieces in general. I wouldn't really do a complete overhaul, but just to build off of what's already here. Also, one thing that I do want to mention is that the wings do stay in this downward position. You can move them up, but there's just not a way to keep them there. It's not something that I personally think needs to be done, but I know some people like having the wings more flat than they are here. So I'm sure if you got this, you could modify it to do that. So yeah, that is the set. It was built using 2 versions of 75154, and if you happen to have 2 or know that you can get 2, I would highly recommend this. Also, to anyone wondering, I do plan to get BrickVault's TIE Striker one day. Actually, the original plan was to have that and compare it to this. Obviously, that had to change. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, please. And if you'd be so kind to like this video, I would really appreciate that. If you're a fan of custom LEGO, do consider subscribing, as it's what I do here, and ring the bell if you are already subscribed. A huge thank you to all of my patrons who continue to help me make this channel be a thing. You can join them for as low as $1 a month, or at higher levels, you can get a shout out like Jonathan and Jaden. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.